All right, so jumping right in because I do want to be respectful of your time, we're going to go over some settings that you need to change immediately. The first is going to be auto pickup gold. We're going to go ahead and set this to yes. This is set to no by default. And the reason why this is important to keep in mind is there are gold drops constantly throughout the world, and you're going to be clicking a mountain of times to get every bit of gold in this game. And it is very scarce in my opinion, especially when you need upgrades. And having this on is going to save you a mountain of time. I don't see a reason why you would want this off, but it's off by default. Go ahead and swap that on. That's going to help you out pretty big. The next setting we need to go over very quickly is the cameras. The camera has two settings that you can switch between, which is immersive and action combat. Now, initially, people may go with immersive because you want to be immersed in the game, but the thing is, the field of view is like non-existent and it's impossible to see when you're playing in the immersive mode. What you're seeing in gameplay wise is me playing in the action mode, and it gives you way more visibility because you're going to need it. Enemies do hit you off screen. Things are relatively hard to see. Areas can be dark. It is important that you can actually see. So make sure you go ahead and toggle this on to action mode so you can save yourself a mountain of like visibility. Finally, while this isn't a direct setting in the game, this is something you get when you activate it. What you see here on screen now is me picking up the Slayer Seal, which is located within the keep. Whenever you activate this and actually equip it onto your character, what this does is essentially make the game significantly easier by just giving you more poise stuff, give you more healing and things of the sort, while also offering you a new skill. While it's a little bit disappointing that the skill is tied specifically to the Slayer Seal, I do want to make sure that players know that this will disable certain achievements when you're actively playing the game. So yeah, make sure you are aware of this because it's important. I don't want you guys ruining your achievements if you're an achievement hunting kind of player. So yeah, make sure you know that with the seals. All right, next, get familiar with this NPC early on. It is a frog character named Gorf. And what he does is, initially when you talk to him, he's going to give you the ability to give him mushrooms to basically kill him, and he's going to give you items in exchange for it. One thing a lot of players don't actively know is, as you could probably tell looking at the background now, is he's able to give you items. So for example, I just got a Marsh Pearl. This is going to give me some really solid gold back, which is about 2,000 when you sell it, which is quite a bit. Now, it is important to keep in mind that Gorf has his own quest line. And in order to progress this quest line, periodically throughout your playthrough, you need to come back to him and bring him items. Most of the time his mushrooms are moonshine, so you're going to have to give him common moonshine. And these are going to give you more and more rewards. This includes more of these Marsh Pearls, and there's going to be story-based items that can actually progress his overall story. Just completing this will give you over 10,000 gold easily, which is already more than valuable in itself. But if you want to actually complete some of the stories in the game, taking advantage of this NPC is actually super important. Now, I do want to say one thing because I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but to help you guys out a little bit, once you continue to give him items, you can go ahead and like leave and come back anytime, and this will progress his story quest line. And if you get the dagger, just bring it to the Mushroom Village inhabitants. He's really integral for giving you some early game gold that actually will help you. You'll be able to level a weapon super easy, and you'll have an easier time in the earlier game. All right, next, let's talk a little bit about Glimpse. As you can see here, I'm sitting in the Shell Keeper's vault room, and what this does is it gives you the ability to see all the shells available in Mortal Shell 2. Now, if you go up to them and interact with them, you can use Glimpse to essentially find the location on the map. And similar to other items that you can see on my map, it will show you a general like overview of where you can find these shells. Now, early on, you're probably tempted to say, you know what, I really want to try out some of these shells, and I want to spin Glimpse. Here's the thing I would highly recommend. First, do not do that. The reason why this doesn't make a lot of sense is simply because Glimpse is actually relatively hard to come by, and it takes quite a bit to upgrade in a shell. In my current gameplay experience, and I'm like 20 hours in, I have not fully upgraded a shell just yet, and I've gotten a lot of Glimpse. So it's important to keep in mind that, you know, the Glimpse is actually fairly scarce, and you won't be able to upgrade a shell purely. And if you're using your Glimpse to even just find them, that's going to cut into that overall amount, and it's just going to make it harder for you to actually get fully maxed out on one. The second thing, and arguably more important, is I already made a video on showing you exactly where to find all the shells on the channel. Now, for those of you who want to like explore it on your own, sure, maybe this could be an option. But for most of you, I would just recommend go check out the video. I already did the work. I already used my Glimpse for it just so I can sacrifice it for you guys. I think the best part of games like this is actually building into a character, and wasting resources and not being able to build into a character doesn't feel fun. So yeah. All right, next we are at the Tarforge, and this is one of the most integral buildings in the entire game, because this enhances your weapons, your sidearms, this can smelt down equipment, and this can temper Tarstones. Now keep in mind, from an earlier perspective, most of these items can be gotten, but there is a 5th item that can go into the Tarforge that is closer to the end game, which we're not going to talk about in this video because that's not practical for most of you. But I'm going to give you an overview of where to find all these things so that you can actually be capable of fully upgrading your character should you have the materials and resources to do so. The first is going to be the enhanced weapon stone. This one is something that pretty much everyone gets, because this goes from just doing the very first beacon in the tutorials. You will inevitably have this, so just complete the very first beacon and you will get it. The next one is going to be used to enhance your sidearms, and again, that one's self-explanatory. Let me show you where you can find this one. And this is essentially very beginning of the game. This is with the very first beacon that you go to, which is going to be the Widow's Overlook. This is where you face off against the Slaughter guy. And then over here, there's going to be another hidden dungeon called the Martyr's Tomb that's going to have it within it. All you need to do is complete this tomb. It's a very simple one. You just go down, shoot the pressure plate, open the chest, and you will have access to this one. And again, this is very important for your sidearm progression. The next one is the Tempering Tarstones, and this one is going to do exactly that. It's going to give you the ability to make your Tarstones better once you break through and give them enough experience. This one is also relatively easy to find. You're going to go to the Mushroom Village Gate and do this Cleanse Gate. This is one of the main core missions in the game. And within this area, before you get to the lady on the, I think she's like on the lawnmower or something, you go ahead and open a chest and it will be located there. So make sure, again, you go ahead and pick that up. It's super important for your overall progression. Lastly, it's going to be the Foundry Stone, which lets you smelt equipment. Now, for those who are curious on what smelting equipment exactly does, it's going to refund your materials as well as a portion of gold, but it's going to consume some gloom to do so. It does not break the weapon. You will continue to keep the weapon. It just, instead of being plus level, it'll go down to the 0 level. So if you found a weapon that has plus levels you have no interest in using, you want to take advantage of this so you can pump it into your main weapon. Like you see here, my Veteran's Battle Axe is plus 12 in the moment. And a lot of that came from just actually removing some of the value from other weapons. Now, in order to find this one, you need to come to the outskirts of Mammon. This is you can go to the very top of the keep and just take the other direction down. This is the very first place you can go to from the southern end. And I'm going to just zoom in very quickly here. And basically where you see my cursor at, there is going to be a chest here. And I'll show some visual footage of it if I can find the actual pickup. I'll just run next to it if I can't find it. And it'll be a chest located within this location. You can go ahead and open it up. Just be mindful, this is a higher level zone, meaning these enemies hit much harder. So you don't want to get punched by these guys. So be careful with that. Regardless, go pick that up, bring it back, and you'll have access to pretty much everything you can reasonably do in the game to actually upgrade your character, besides the one thing that's late game. Alright, next we have Nightmode. What Nightmode is an alternative difficulty that increases the health and the damage of the enemies in a very big way, making the difficulty of the game much harder. But with that difficulty comes a very positive caveat, and that is you have 3 really important things. First, you get an increased amount of experience gain. If at the time of recording this video, I believe it's about 20% increase while you're in the night mode, so this is a great opportunity for you to farm and get more souls. The second thing is it unlocks the ability for specific story missions that you otherwise don't have access to. So if you're not taking advantage of night mode, you're actually going to be missing out on content if that's something that's important to you. The third and most important, in my personal opinion, is there's also vendors that are specific to the night mode. So once again, interacting with the night mode actually brings some pretty big benefits and items that you otherwise can't get unless you participate in it. Alright, well, how does one get access to the said night mode? Well, this is pretty simple. You're going to come over here to the Widow's Overlook beacon. This is once again the very first beacon most of you likely went to. And you're going to come over here to this area where you see the Arbiter of Flesh. Again, this is one of the first bosses you face off against. That's relatively easy. You're going to have to take him down, and then within the area, there's going to be a candle sitting atop a gravestone. Go ahead and pick up that gravestone, continue your area, and when you get the opportunity, you can go back to the keep. At the very tip top where you take the elevator up, there's going to be a lantern sitting up there somewhere, and you just place it within the lantern. Once you do so, this will summon a NPC that you can talk to at any given time that's going to give you the ability to swap between day and night mode. So for those of you who are worried that you're stuck in the zone, you're not stuck in night mode. You can go to night mode at any given time or swap back whenever you want to do more general exploration and be a little bit more safer. So yeah, overall, this is a very low risk thing to do. they're going to be much harder. You're going to get a lot more resources. It's going to give you more options. Those integral to it, at the very minimum, know that this exists. And speaking of experience, let's go over 2 Tarstones that are super integral to get early so you can give yourself some general farming benefit. First, we have the Gloombound Stone. What this does is gives you up to 6% increased gloom for slaying foes, and the other is going to be the Justiciar Stone, which is going to give you up to 6% coin from, once again, slaying those same foes. Obviously, if you're looking to gain a little bit of extra XP and a little bit of extra coin while you're farming, maybe even in night mode, this is going to be the items that you should go ahead and pick up, and they're relatively easy to get. Alright, in order to find these items, you're going to come here to the Black Ridge Pass, and I just follow the route that I'm going to be going. Keep in mind, you do not have to fight a single enemy in this area, but keep in mind it is kind of worth it because you're probably going to be relatively low level if you haven't finished this area. And also, there is going to be corruption in this area that can block you from going to certain locations. In order to clear that corruption, you're just going to need to bring enough OVA to the Moral Keep by siphoning it. You could be able to block off these paths that you see here that would have corruption in your said game. Now, once you come through this area here, you come into the Stone of the Remembrance area. And this is the area you're looking for. What you're mainly looking for, and again, I've already done this in my game, but I'm going to just give you a visual representation of where it's located. You're going to go past all these clowns here, and they're going to come up here towards this staircase. You'll see that this door is going to be sealed. This is going to be where you're going to get one of the items. I believe the Gloombound thing is going to be located within this one. So you're going to need to open this monastery up. Now, how to do so, and we're going to cut the footage of me actually doing it, is there's going to be tombstones all around this area that's going to have these like yellow markings on them. I believe there's a totality of 4 of them that you need to find in this zone. And once you break them, this will open up the access to this location so you can go into it. So for very first, go in here, go ahead and finish up that monastery, and you'll get access to the very first one. Now, jumping back into the actual game I'm playing now, you're going to make your way after coming out of the monastery here to the left. And there's going to be an area here filled with snails with questionable hitboxes, if I'm being completely honest. But over here, as you can see here, there's a ton of snails that's going to be here. You're going to have to take down a boss fight, which is not really a boss fight. It's just 2 snakes and a snail that's going to be located in this corner here. Once you do so, and then once again, we're going to swap to the actual footage of me doing so. At the very back, there will be this tombstone here that has the other Tarstone just sitting there for you to actively pick up and bring back. So yeah, just like that, you'll have access to really good Tarstones that can help you farming, because farming is actually going to be relatively important in this game. Alright, next, to end this video off, I'm going to give you an early game farming route that I think is going to be pretty valuable for players. If you take advantage of any of the items that I give you in night mode, you can get up to close to, I believe, 4,000 gloom over the course of 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes you'll get 4,000, but this does require it to be in night mode. So if you do it in the lesser mode, you'll probably be closer to like 3k-ish in that area. Regardless, you're going to be at the Citadel of Penance, and I'm just going to give you the route and visually show you it. And keep in mind, I'm actually doing the route, and then I'm going to actually talk, so I may lag behind a little bit. So the idea is simple. You're going to make your way up the staircase here, and there's going to be an elite enemy that you need to take down. He's relatively strong, but you're going to be fighting a lot of these. You're going to make your way to the left, and there's going to be 3 guys at the top as well as another elite that you need to take down. And they, once again, going to give you a good amount of gloom. Drop down to the right side here, which is going to lead you upwards towards a gate. There's going to be 2 other elites as well as a crossbow guy shooting at you. Once again, easily take those 3 guys down. Then look to your left after you take these guys down, and there'll be 2 more guys coming, as well as a guy with a axe that looks a little bit more of like a beast kind of guy, and he's going to give you more XP as well. After dispatching all these enemies, you're going to notice on the left side here as you run towards the left, there's a drop down that leads you to another area that has another elite. There's a guy to the top right I would ignore. Just take down the elite. And then you're going to drop down to the floor area. Once you get to the floor area, you'll have 2 more enemies as well as another elite. Go ahead and take those guys down, and then look to the right, which will take you down towards a corridor. And when you go down this corridor, there will be 2 more elites as well as 2 troll guys throwing rocks. Again, this is the route that you're going to take, and then walk all the way back to the bonfire and rinse repeat At 2 minutes, I would say 2 minutes is a relatively good number to say for most builds at this point in the game, and you can take all these guys down relatively easy. Alright guys, and there you have it. Those are some things I wish I knew sooner before jumping into Mortal Shell 2. Hopefully this gives you guys a good understanding of some really solid tips that can help your overall progression. I tried to cover a little bit of everything, give you some information, give you some items, give you some experience, and overall just make your gameplay feel much better. Now keep in mind, if you do appreciate the work that goes into these videos that are not only respectful of your time but as concise as this one, consider leaving me a like, dropping a comment, or even subscribing. It really helps my small channel a big way when you do those things, so do consider doing so. If there's any other tips you'd like to leave for other players, feel free to drop them down below as well. That can help them out. The game is actually relatively new, so there's going to be a lot of people jumping in the next coming days, so your comments actually could help them out. As always guys, my name is Fervor. I really appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you in the next Mortal Shell 2 video very soon.